Hello and welcome, this is Dr. Rasmussen, and this is a continuation of Chapter 7, and in this talk we're going to cover the development of right and left. Wrong. Okay, so overview of this talk, we're going to describe the distinction between ethics and morals, and then we're going to get into Kohlberg, Lawrence Kohlberg that is. Now, what is the difference between ethics and morals? Well, they're both very similar in that they both deal with right and wrong. However, ethics is oftentimes used as a word to define a larger group's view of what's right and wrong, or a set policy of what's right and wrong. So ethics is involved with some type of code or rule. For an example, maybe an organization's ethics policy on, computer use or cell phone use or communication. Now, morals deals typically with a personal decision. So an individual's decision on what's right and wrong. So for example, you got Frank, what's his beliefs on how to treat others? Okay, that would be his moral views. Now, the distinction between ethics and morals is very, very slim, being that they both deal with right and wrong. And actually, interestingly enough, if you're a philosopher, an ethicist, some of these ethicists don't actually even consider them to be different. Some actually consider them to be the same thing, ethics and morals. But in this class, we're going to talk about right and wrong in respect to morality, because morals, this deals with an individual's personal decision making. So we're going to talk about this as moral development. So who is a big key player in moral development? Well, that's the guy you're looking at right there, okay? Lawrence Kohlberg. Now, there was a lot of other people, even Jean Piaget, even Dr. Sigmund Freud. I should say Dr. Jean Piaget as well, not just Jean Piaget. But these are other individuals who also looked at morality, the development of morality in an individual. But Lawrence Kohlberg developed a very, very nice explanation of, through some observations of how people develop morality, okay? And so there's three overarching levels. Sometimes people say there's three stages, and you're not wrong to say there's three stages, but there's three overarching levels, as I'm going to call them: the pre-conventional, the conventional, and the post-conventional. Now, which one do you think sits in first? Oh man, you guys are so smart. It's just unbelievable. I'm so happy you're in my class. Of course it's the pre-conventional. That makes sense, right? It goes pre-conventional, conventional, post-conventional. Isn't that so amazingly easy? Oh, I love when psychology is like this. Okay, this is why I became a professor, because it ain't hard. Alright, now, the pre-conventional is typically around the ages of like 3 and onwards to like maybe 6 or 7. The conventional is like 7 to about the early teen years, and then the post-conventional would be like the teen years and onward. Now, interestingly enough, some people actually don't go into the post-conventional stage. Actually, some people within the United States of America, so Western societies, as well as a lot of times other countries as well, especially those countries who rely more on like interpersonal relationships. And what we're talking here is like small tribes in Africa or South America have been found to kind of stay more in the conventional phase. It's not saying that people who if you get to the post-conventional, you're like, you've reached this enlightenment, you're smarter. No, that's not what it's saying. It's just, they're at a different level. And that doesn't make them, worse off or less intelligent. It's just a different way of viewing the world. Okay? So keep that in mind. Alright, so let's get talking about the pre-conventional, the conventional, and the post-conventional. So basically, the pre, the conventional, and the post have these different stages wrapped inside of them. Okay, so the first pre-conventional deals with two things. In the beginning, it oftentimes is obedience, but it really includes this fear of punishment. Okay, so you do what's right and wrong to avoid being punished. Another thing is the individualism. It's very self-centered. It's almost like egocentric, I guess you could say, for throwing in some Piagetian terms. This is more dealing with this exchange that you're going to get for what's right and wrong. So you do something right, well, you do something right so you can get something in return, okay? Now, moving on to the conventional phase, it deals more with a little bit bigger ideas of what's right and wrong. And now here, instead of trying to avoid punishment or gain rewards, you're trying to make others happy. You're going for social harmony. Oh, isn't that a nice word? I don't think I've ever said those two words together, social harmony. Sounds like you want me to start singing Kumbaya or something like that. Now, for real, this is what it's all about, is social harmony. You're trying to do what's right and wrong to please others. Now, moving on to the fourth stage of that conventional, or so the second stage, I guess you could say, of the conventional level, would be you're just going to be doing what's right and wrong because of rules. So you might be doing what is like morally wrong, but you're just going to follow the rules. You do what you do because the rule says, okay? So it's like this blind, you have like these blinders on and you're just following rules no matter what, okay? Moving on to the post-conventional phase, this is where you're going to start, getting away from, trying to make others happy, as well as just blindly following these rules, which, could be right or could be wrong, ethically right or wrong. And I say ethically in there because, these rules, they're rules, and like they're larger things here. So this post-conventional phase is going to start to move towards doing what's right and wrong for a bigger reason. Okay, for one, social contract. It helps society to follow these rules and to do what's right and wrong, what you think is right and wrong, to help others. So you're going to be helping others, not just to make people happy, but it's going to help society. Now, this sixth one is going to start to follow these rules, or not follow these rules, sorry, to do what's right and wrong because you believe it's right and wrong. Not to, avoid punishment, get rewards, make others happy, just because the rule says so. Now you're following these moralities, doing what's right and wrong because you believe it's the right thing to do. So here's some definitions, or rather, I guess you could say definitions, and I'll maybe throw in like an example. I'll really throw in an example after this, but here's some further definitions. So again, pre-conventional, based on avoiding punishment. Okay, you do an action to avoid punishment. The second stage of the pre-conventional, you want to do what's best to help yourself out. Very individualistic. The conventional is you want to be looked at as like a good boy or a good girl. Okay, you're doing what you're doing to try to make others happy with you, to maintain these social bonds. The second stage of the conventional is you're trying to have law and order because that's what the rule says, okay? You are just blindly following these rules, okay? Now, this post-conventional stage is that, you start to realize, again, just like I said, that others have different values, but and others have different values, but you also want to do what's right and wrong because, there's right and wrong in this world, and you start to develop this belief in it. But I guess you could say the one difference between 5 and 6 is that 5, you kind of realize that others have, that others have different values than you, but what the difference is here is that in 5, in this fifth stage, is that you almost see others as having different values, and you're like, oh, that's okay. Okay? Whereas in the sixth stage, you're like, oh, others have different values, and that's not okay, because their values are wrong. There's no moral relativism. Moral relativism means that all morality is right, no matter what you think, as long as you can back it up with an argument. No, you don't think that. You think that some things are right, some things are wrong. Like slavery. Slavery is wrong because all people are created equal. They're Homo sapiens, and they should have the same right to life and the pursuit of happiness, pursuit of what they want to do, regardless of others trying to own them or make them do what they don't want to do. So that's why you think slavery is wrong. Okay, and so that would be this universal principle. Slavery is wrong because it goes against a universal principle that all men and women and Homo sapiens are free. They should be free upon to themselves. Okay, obviously, if they do some sort of crime or something along those lines, they're going to be imprisoned. But if they have not committed a crime, then they should not be enslaved. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving on here. So basically, just to reiterate: avoid punishment, receive rewards, please others, follow rules blindly, follow ethical principles for others, and then you follow ethical principles for the ethical principles because some are right and some are wrong. Okay, so you follow the ethical principles because those are right, and you don't follow others because those are wrong. Alright, cool. So, let's get into an example here. And what I got for this example is the Heinz Dilemma. If you've never heard of the Heinz Dilemma, you're in store for a great little description. And if you heard of the Heinz Dilemma, then you're probably getting a little snicker out of this cartoon here. It's not a cartoon, it's just, I don't even know. Let's just say it's a meme. It's not a meme, but it's kind of funny. You'll get the point after this. So the Heinz Dilemma was something that was created and is oftentimes used in philosophy classes, especially ethics classes, to talk about morality, what's right and wrong, what would you do. And so this is going to be the modified Heinz Dilemma, and I want you to listen to the story, and then you're going to take a moment and you're going to fill in what stage, what stage each of the characters are in. Okay? So, a friend is on his or their deathbed. There was one potion that a wizard thought might save the friend. It was a form of Mordini extract that is extremely rare. Luckily, a local potion shop down on Diagon Alley has some for sale. Typically, a treatment sells for the equivalent of $1,000, which insurance does not cover. The local shopkeeper was selling his for $50,000. Wow, that's a big markup. Also, it seems no other shops have any Mordini wort extract left. Uh-oh, what's going to happen? Townfolk have been asking the sales owner, the store clerk, the store owner for discounts on the potion. They say they can pull together about half the price, like $25K. However, the shop owner tells them to bug off and come back when you have the full amount. So dang, seriously, what would you do if you need this Mordini wort and your friend is dying? You need to have the Mordini wort, otherwise your friend will die. But you don't got the $50K, so what would you do? Okay? That's what this whole Heinz Dilemma deals with. This is a modified Heinz Dilemma. It deals with Harry Potter, which is my favorite. So here's some characters from Harry Potter. Ron, Hermione, Harry, Dumbledore, Severus, my man, and Malfoy, little punk. But I want you to think about these characters, and I want you to read them. All right, pause this right now, because I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait like 10 minutes while you do this, okay? That would be a waste of my time. So I want you to read this, and I want you to detect if the individual's in the pre-conventional stage, the post-conventional, or the conventional. And one of them is going to be a trick, okay? So I'm going to give you a moment. You should pause it right now. Check this out. Do this, and I'm going to be back in a jiff. Welcome back. All right, here's the answers. So, if you noted that Ron steals a drug because he does not want to have his friend cast a spell on him, he's in the pre-conventional stage. This is going to be tried to avoid punishment. Hermione, love Hermione, does not steal because stealing is against the rules. You can actually see her doing this, right? This is in the conventional phase. She's in the conventional phase. She just blindly follows rules. Now, Harry steals a drug because he wants to keep his house members, the fellow members from Gryffindor, happy, right? So, boom. He's in the conventional phase. He's trying to make others happy. Now, Dumbledore you think is in the post-conventional phase, but he's not. He's in the pre-conventional phase. Why? Because he's trying to steal the Mordini wort so he can get a Horcrux. I know, your people are probably like, what is Dr. Rasmussen on? Horcrux? What the heck's that? Well, it's something that's really good, and he needs it to help defeat he who should not be named. Now, Severus, R.I.P. Severus, he wants to. He doesn't care about it because he can make the Mordini extract. So this is just a trick. And then Malfoy, which you think should be in the pre-conventional phase, it's kind of nice that he's actually in the post-conventional phase because he does not steal the drug because he thinks stealing is wrong and that people should never steal. Okay, and so this is just for him the pinnacle. This is what is the pinnacle. Another person could steal the drug as well, okay? Another person could steal the drug as well and argue that, yes, stealing is wrong, but because the individual, is about to die, and the shopkeeper is charging that much of a markup, the person who's the shopkeeper shouldn't try to be making extra money on a product when a person's life is in the line. So for an individual like this, a person's life is worth more than, following this rule because they need to keep this person alive, and charging this extra money while a person is dying is, it seems very I guess you could say, greedy, and to them that wouldn't be morally permissible. So those would be individuals who are in the post-conventional phase. So, guys, girls, I hope this helped out. I hope this really helps out in respect to the difference between ethics and morals. Ethics is more on a organization, larger scale, versus morals is like a personal decision. And you know Lawrence Kohlberg, he got them 3 stages, the pre-conventional, the conventional, and the post-conventional. Make sure you know the components of each of those stages, and you are set. I hope you have a lovely, rightful day.